Hi, everyone. Welcome to our One World Peace Energy Encounter with the Zohar. This week's portion is Shoftim, which means judges. And in our edition of the Zohar, we're at verse 10. So before we begin, let's invite in the Kabbalistic lineage of the Rav and Karen and Michael, Rav Ashlag, Rav Brandwein, the Ariya Kodesh, the Ramchal, Rav Tafon, Rav Avram Mazulai, Rav Menachem Mendel Vitebsk, Rav Kolona Shapira Piasetson, the Baal Shem Tov, Rav Shimbai Chai and all students, Rav Mordechai of Chernobyl, one soul with Joseph the Righteous, Yosef Tzadik in Shechem. Today is the third day of Elul, of Virgo, so we're in the month of Virgo, and it's the 30-day countdown to Rosh Hashanah, which we translate as the new year, but which really means the head of the year, because Rosh is head. And for us, head is consciousness, among other things. And so we are working on refining our consciousness to fully capture all the opportunities that are available to us this month, to do the work we need to do to manifest the best possible version of ourselves for the year to come. So let's also, as we connect to these verses, wherever we are, we have the ability to connect to this one world energy. It is a world that manifests as fragmented, but it is all connected. And we want to strengthen those connections and strengthen those connections with the metaphysical unseen world, the 99%, where all the fulfillment that the world is looking for exists. And so that's what we want to channel. We want to connect to that upper realm and channel the energy of peace, ending the war in Israel, the safe return of all the hostages. Unfortunately, we saw the execution of 6 hostages this past week in a really tragic development, but there's still over 100 hostages being held. And so we want the safe return of all those hostages, the end of the conflict in Israel, the end of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. We want to connect to the energy of healing for all those we know who need healing, the energy of assistance in elevation to those souls that we know that are elevating, that are in that process of transitioning. Also connect to the energy of Ahavat Chinam, unconditional love, treating everyone in the world with human decency, and protection from evil eye and evil speech, and protection from negativity, and removal of chaos from our world. Okay, verse 10. The name of this article is At the Mouth of Two Witnesses Shall the Matter Be Established. And just by way of background, we can look at this in a very literal sense as, dealing with the laws of Jewish jurisprudence. Like, how do you establish something in court? What are the laws of evidence? That's one way of looking at what this particular portion is about. But that's a very surface explanation, and we need to dive a little deeper to get to the essence. Verse 10, Amar Butzina Kadisha, Vadai, Yisrael inun eitzim yeveshim b'oraita, begin achidu be'esh de hedyot, lav inun kadka chazeh, lemebad bahon nisa, miyan de'ant nechitat alahu b'oraita, beginach nachat alahu ilana dechaye, umitzvah di'iyu ner Hashem be'achidat bahon b'yehon chayim, ve'umin avodat kochavim, de'alma itok dan bahon ner, v'dhai iyu de'amar navi, v'ata el tira abdei Yaakov el techat Yisrael, ki itcha ani v'gomer. Peter?
The holy luminary, that is Rabbi Shimon, said to the faithful shepherd.
And who's the faithful shepherd?
Moses.
Okay, now did these two people, were they alive at the same time?
They were not?
They were not. So first takeaway here is we're listening to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, author of the Zohar. So we're hearing from like one of the most elevated souls to ever walk the face of the earth. He's the author of the Zohar. This is the most fundamental and source of Kabbalistic wisdom that we have. And we're listening to him, then he's not always the one who's talking, the way the narratives play out. But he is talking here. And who's he having a conversation with? Moses. So this is like right away. How do you have a conversation with Moses? Can we have a conversation with Moses? Can we have a conversation with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai?
Yes.
Well, yes. But to do that, of course we can. But to have that conversation, we are pulling the curtain back. The curtain that separates the 1% physical reality that we experience with our senses, and we're accessing the 99%, the reality that exists beyond our five senses. And when we talk about judges, which is actually in the first paragraph here, but it's the first line of this week's portion, what our teachers teach us is what do we mean by judges? We mean our senses. Like we are using our five senses to navigate the world around us. But those aren't windows to the world. I mean, they kind of are. They're more like filters. They only allow in as much as our feeble minds can handle. And it's about 1% of reality. And that's what our teachers tell us. It's about 1% of reality. So we're trying to make decisions and assessments and navigate life based on 1% of what's really going on. And so why does this concept of like jurisprudence, of the way courts and judges and officers and witnesses come into play? Because the key thing about a judge is they need to be objective. They need to be without agenda. And so much of what's going on here right now is us tapping into that deeper reality and removing the agenda that we have. Well, what's that agenda? Well, it's desire to receive of the self. It's I need to watch out for myself. It's like, how's this working for me? As opposed to the desire to receive for the sake of sharing, as opposed to interacting with the world to manifest my soul and to make the world a better place, as opposed to my world. And so our agenda is there. And part of what the energy of Virgo, of Elul, gives us, and this is about Virgos. Virgos see the imperfections in the world around them, less so able to see their own imperfections. But the world reflects that back to us. And that goes on all year long, but it's even stronger this month. And so the huge opportunities to see the deeper reality, not only the deeper reality of what's going on in the world, the deeper reality of what's going on with me and what things I need to work on and where my attention needs to be paid to remove my blockages and my biases and my personal agenda. It's there. You can't not have it. If you are a soul and you're manifesting in this world in a body with a body consciousness, you're going to have personal agenda. We just have to create enough awareness around that. And that is the tremendous opportunity we have in this week's portion. We always have it, but right here, this is us connecting to unveiling that deeper reality about ourselves, for ourselves. And there's a great teaching of the Baal Shem Tov, who was the father of Hasidism. And that is that when you see something in someone else that you think is a little off, it's the world reflecting back to you something, an aspect of yourself that you need to see. You wouldn't be able to see it in someone else if you didn't have it. That's the idea. It's not a perfect reflection, it's an aspect. So we also want to be heightened to, and that's the thing about Virgos. They can't see it in themselves, but they can see it in other people. And so that's part of the energy of this month, is gives us the opportunity to look at the world around us and specifically the interpersonal relationships that we have, and we get cues about things that we need to be focused on for ourselves. Okay. bringing us back to a conversation between between Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Moses. And here's the thing. We're taught that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was a reincarnation of Moses. So this is like happening on multiple levels.
So he's talking to himself.
On one level he is, but perhaps he's not. But you raise a good point. It's like what they call mirror work. It's like you wake up in the morning, you go into the bathroom, you look in the mirror, and you say to yourself, well, what can I do for you today? Like, this is an aspect of self-care. You could argue this whole month's about self-care, but probably every month is about self-care. But to a certain degree, this is also about self-care. It's like being able to take a step back from an elevated perspective and look at yourself and like, what do I need to do for myself today? How do I need to support myself? How do I need to love myself? How do I need to appreciate myself? How do I need to give myself a break? How do I need to allow myself to be sad and support that? Like, what would I do if I was my best friend? What would I say? What would I do? And again, it's taking a step back and in an objective way, without agenda. And, having compassion, having self-compassion. So I'm glad you pointed that out. He was having a conversation with himself. Let's see where his conversation goes. Let's see what his mirror work does.
Surely Yisrael are dry wood in the Torah because they are connected to fire of a layperson.
Okay, so what's the deal? What is dry wood? How are we to understand dry wood?
Just brittle, I don't know, what is it called? Putrefied? What's the word? Or it's just
Petrified. Yeah, petrified wood. But
is it the parchment, David?
Is it parchment? I mean, it could be. I think in this sense, dry wood is unenlightened. It's dry.
Mm-hmm.
It's unenlightened. Wood, of course, is a connection to the tree of life. Stacy's saying potential. Yes, it does have potential. It reminds me of another, I think this also comes from the Baal Shem Tov. Maybe it's just a Hasidic line, and that is that an unlit log catches fire when lying next to a lit log. I mean, literally, when you look in your fire, if anyone who likes to make fires in a fireplace, you've seen that. Like, and that is like an understanding of what does it mean to be lit. It's like our soul is aroused, is connected, is alive. So a log that's not lit is like asleep. So a dry log is like asleep and uninspired. So when the Zohar says, surely the dry wood, because they're connected to the fire, what's a layperson? They're dry because they're connected to the 1%. They're looking at life on a surface level, at a 1% level. It's like, what do I see? This is all there is. Well, this is not all there is. But that's the way it appears. Let's continue.
They do not deserve to have a miracle performed for them.
Why would they not deserve it? Come on, give them a break. Give them a miracle. What's the big deal?
They don't have the vessel for it.
Okay, so yeah, so we don't, very well put, we don't have the vessel for it, but there's another thing, and this goes back to like when I took Kabbalah, introduction to Kabbalah like 20 years ago. What I remember, among the things I remember, is this idea that there is a realm of miracles. It's the upper realm. Miracles are the norm. In our realm, miracles are not the norm. And so we see miracles as like, the creator, like, cutting us a break, right? But that's not really what miracles happen because we merit them. Miracles happen because we're connecting to the realm of miracles and manifesting them. It's only a miracle here. It's not a miracle there. In the upper realm, that's just the norm. Because of how our consciousness operates, we assume this is normal. This isn't normal. I mean, look around, it's really not normal. This isn't normal. This is the realm that we came to do the work that we needed to do. Normal is miracles. So we're unable to manifest miracles when we are disconnected. When we're connected, we're literally connected to the realm of miracles. And so that's the importance of being connected to the light. That's the importance of being a log, a flame in flames. It's like your soul. It's like a log that's in flames. It's like analogous to manifesting that soul. And the dry log is just like asleep. It's like the Walking Dead. Okay. So why don't they deserve it? It's not like the term is they don't deserve it, but they're not meritorious of it because they haven't done their work. They haven't elevated. They haven't raised their consciousness. They're not connecting to the upper realm. They're not connecting to the metaphysical level, the realm of miracles. And so here, for us, this is our opportunity to connect to the realm of miracles. So wherever it is in your life that you seek miracles, it's like we need to connect to that realm. And this is a direct connection to that realm of miracles. And manifest those miracles. And remind ourselves that the processes that we're going through, as Andrea stated, it's like we don't have the vessel. The processes we're going through are there to help us expand our vessel so we can handle the miracles. We can handle the blessings. And so we're getting that energy to assist us by just working through these verses. It's like, what's going on here? This is us struck. When you can't figure something out, that's growth. When you say whatever, you just let it go, that's like punting. That's like, I'm not even going to talk. When you actually go deeper and ask why and seek out the answers and struggle with the information, this is our growth. This is us growing. This is us opening channels, receiving for the sake of sharing, of changing the world, literally. Yes.
So it was really, there's something really interesting that's happening for me, and I'm sure with a lot of people, is I felt sick, but not sick. My body aches, but I don't have a cold. It's just aching, and it's almost like from a surgery, literally. And so I asked actually Batya, and it's like when we're doing intense work during this month, we're probably going to get sick because the body's got to release stuff that we've held on, like darkness that we've held on to. When we're uncovering for ourselves, when we're seeing the things that we have to change, that's what Virgo is so good for. And we are grateful, thank the creator, and then and the body just lets it go. We're going to get sick, or we're going to get a cold, or we're going to get, tired.
It's potentially going to manifest with physical challenges.
Right.
Potentially. Let's not say that we're going to get sick. I'm not disagreeing with it. I don't want to say that because I don't want to get sick. But you're right. It's a purge.
It's a purge. That's what I was looking. Yeah. It's not
100%.
We're going to get sick. But if we are going to get sick, just don't fight it.
Well, I think that, part of what's going on, and I've had these conversations with people, is that it's like we're trying to figure what is going on, to your point. Like, what exactly is going on? And it's important for us to remind ourselves and have a consciousness about when you feel that there's something going on, you don't know what it is. It might just be it's raining. And I don't mean it's raining. I mean, it might just be like the spiritual environment that we're in. that we're feeling the change in energy that is flowing into our world, is flowing into our realm. There's a whole thing with the Mercury, Pluto, the big changes since 2008. So it's like,
Right.
15 years of like, things visiting us right now. Why is that important? Because again, it's giving us the opportunity to move past all that stuff, to move past those challenges and those processes that we've gone through. And we're giving another opportunity to remove and purge as much of those blockages as possible. And that's what removing blockages feels like. It's like shedding your skin almost.
Yeah. It's interesting.
But yeah, there's a lot of that is totally a lot of that's going on. But remember, the more conscious we are of what's going on, the less physical reminders we need. Like the physical reminders come to get our attention. That's how the universe is helping us. So if I can direct my attention to what's going on, I don't need the physical reminders. Everything's happening for a reason. And it's not to give us a hard time. And it's not to torture us. It's definitely not. It's to wake us up. So if I'm doing my own work to wake up, I don't need those physical reminders. I'm proactively doing my own purging. So it's a way of navigating, the energy that's here and present in a way where I can be more proactive as opposed to being reactive. And awareness of what's going on is big part of the whole process. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so it's not so much they don't deserve because they didn't, it's like they haven't done the work they need to do. The children of Israel, who is the children of Israel? Well, that's us. That you're on this path. This is it. That's what we're doing here. We are following the teachings of the generations that preceded us on this path. And so to merit the miracles, we need to wake up. It's perfectly aligned, Andrew, with what you were just saying. We're getting the wake-up calls, but we can wake up to this reality and merit the miracles and the removal of the blockages that stand in the way of manifesting. So a huge takeaway for us and huge opportunity for us here, aligned with the energy that's available to us this month, is waking up to the deeper reality, connecting to that deeper reality, turning our consciousness to that reality, and looking around us and just observing, see what's going on. What am I feeling? So I want to read wait, hang on a second. I got to pull up the chat. Stacy's saying we need to earn a spiritual black belt. Yes, we did. I don't know, maybe in spirituality, the black belt is the one you start off with, the white belt is the one you, I don't know. Okay, let's continue, but yes.
As soon as you descend on them with Torah, for your sake, the tree of life descends on them, which is their own being. And the commandment, which is Malchut, the candle of Hashem, which holds on to them, and so they live.
Well, that's a lot in that sentence. Okay, so who can help me understand, or just help us all articulate what does the tree of life represent? Remember, there are two trees in the Garden of Eden. The tree of knowledge, and it literally gets explained like the tree of knowledge, but this is like, this is the way people explain things. They say it's the tree of knowledge. What's wrong with that? Well, it's not the tree of knowledge. It's Eitz Hadat Tov V'Ra. It's the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's what it's the knowledge about, good and evil. Well, what's wrong with knowing the difference between good and evil? I mean, on the surface, it sounds fine because it's a judgment. When you say something is evil, you're saying it's a judgment. Well, aren't there evil things? I mean, who knows? We see 1%. How do we know? No. When you buy into the reality of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you're looking at the world as right and wrong. We're not getting too much. We're not getting a diet of that right now. Nowhere, like everywhere. It's tree of knowledge of good and evil. This is the final, this is the approach to Messiah. This is like the battle of consciousness. It's what's going on. There's a battle over your consciousness. Literally. Everybody's out there trying to, not everybody, but there are tremendous agendized forces trying to capture your consciousness, literally trying to brainwash you as to what their assessment of what right and wrong is. That's what's going on right now. It's the ultimate battle for consciousness, foreseen by the Kabbalists thousands of years ago. Like, this is it. We're here. How long is this going to last? I don't know. But it's definitely going on. And it's definitely worse than it ever was, because information is available at your fingertips. Back in the day, you wouldn't know what was going on in Asia for months. Now you know in an instant what's going on the other side of the world. Its information is instantaneous. It happens so fast. We have no, it's like there's barely time to process. That's one of the points of all the agendized information out there. They don't want us processing. They want us just absorbing, just internalizing. We need to restrict. We need to take a step back and try and see the agenda and what's going on. And what's our agenda? Peace on earth, just so we're clear. That's our agenda. Our agenda is Bila Mavel and Etzach, the death of death. Our agenda is immortality. Our agenda is treating everyone with human decency, as our teachers always talk about. That is our agenda. That's the tree of life. And that's the distinction here. Our agenda is the tree of life, as the Zohar is saying right here. But it competes with the agenda of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Well, it sounds like that was what's going on in the Garden of Eden. That's right. It was. And it's going on here, right now. It's timeless. So what the Zohar is saying is that Moses, as soon as you descend on them with the Torah. So it sounds like Moses ordered like a book off of Amazon, and now he's sharing it with the children of Israel. And it's not exactly what happened. Moses goes up on Mount Sinai and he manifests not literature, but energy of Zeranpin. He's forging a connection between the upper realm and our realm. And that's the opportunity we always have when we're connecting to this knowledge, to this wisdom. I'm not calling it knowledge, I'm calling it wisdom, but it's really just energy, it's just consciousness. That's what
5 minutes.
Moses manifested. He manifested this consciousness from the upper realm. Well, how did he do that? Well, it's infused in these parchment scrolls with ink written on them. It's infused in what we call the Torah, in these letters that channel energy from the upper realm. That's what the 22 letters of the alphabet, of the Aramaic alphabet, channel energy from the upper realm. Those are the letters that are written on Torah. That's what we're going to read tomorrow morning when we read the portion of Shoftim. It's not just about reading. It's not just about knowledge or studying. It's about connecting to an elevated consciousness and connecting to the realm of miracles. and literally inspiring our souls, going from dry wood to wood that's in flames. That's burning with desire. Desire for what? Desire to receive for the sake of sharing. That's what we're trying to accomplish. And so when Moses comes down with this consciousness, which is Zer Anpin, and the commandment, which is Malchut, so it's like it's energy, potential, and then it's manifestation. And so the Zohar says it's the candle of Hashem. That's our soul. That's what we're waking up. Your soul, the soul to you is the candle to the Creator. We are all sparks. We're all little chips off the mountain of the Creator, of the upper realm, of this energy of immortality, of this energy of peace and unconditional love, and treating everyone with human decency. This is what goes on in the upper realm. Your souls represent the connection to that upper realm. When we're asleep, we don't have that connection. When we're awoken to the tree of life, we have that connection. That is our connection to the light. And so what's happening here is Rabbi Shimon is telling Moses about the role that he played. Doesn't Moses know that he played that role? So this conversation isn't for their benefit. This conversation is for our benefit. So going back to Peter's point, yeah, it's kind of like Rabbi Shimon and Moses having conversations, like they're having a conversation. Like Moses having a conversation with himself. What's the point of that? Because how do we process information? This is the way information needs to be presented to us. So our souls navigating a world through physicality can internalize this very important consciousness so that they live. Well, that sounds like the option, it's a choice between life and death. It kind of is, but it's not a choice between life and death. It's a choice between living an inspired life and living an uninspired life. Going through life as a dry piece of wood, or going through life as this bright flame. Manifesting the light. Yes, Peter?
How about the word awakened
Yes.
versus inspired?
Yeah, it literally is. It's the difference between the dry wood and the wood that's in flames is a level of being awoken or awakened. And
I like inspired.
What's that?
I like inspired.
But it really is.
Because it comes
isn't
from
the-
spirit. There's the word spirit in it, inspire.
Of course.
Yeah, but the point about saying awakened is the dry wood means we're walking around unconscious, right? We're just living in the 1%, and we're
Right.
not aware. When you're awakened, you're being lifted up, and you have the opportunity to connect to the upper world.
And it's a funny paradox, because we're saying we need to do the work to raise our consciousness, but isn't the light doing that for us? Yeah, but I have free will. So I have the free will to either be a dry log or a log in flames. But isn't the Creator doing that for us? So it's a paradox. It doesn't really matter. That's where we want to be. But it is also a merit. And this speaks to what goes on earlier in the paragraph, speaking about the merit of miracles. It's a merit. I don't know what I did to deserve to be on this path, but I'm pretty sure I didn't do enough. I'm pretty sure, and so part of what we also want to bring with us is like a level of humility about this. Like, I really don't know what we did. I'm sitting, and I'm not just saying that rhetorically. I really don't know. I have no clue. My sense is not enough, but my sense is that that's why it's a merit. Thank God we're on this path. Thank God we have the opportunity to connect in this way. Thank God that literally that we have the opportunity to change the world in this way. Well, does everybody change? Let's continue.
Of the heathen nations will be burned by that candle.
Oh, no, everyone doesn't have the opportunity. No, not everyone's gonna wake up. Not everyone is gonna, no, they're gonna have to go through a painful process, which goes right back to our earlier conversation about in this time of the year where we're feeling this heaviness and this energy that's manifesting and, I don't feel physically or what, it's like either I be proactive about it and I don't have to be burned, either I light myself up or I'm going to be burned. And that's, it's equitable. It's fair. Everyone's got a shot. Everyone's got an opportunity. We've got free will. But you have to wake up to that free will. But we've got free will to make a difference, to raise our consciousness, to remove our judgments. And again, getting back to like, what's one of the most dangerous things? Well, tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's a judgment. That's agendized. What is a judge? A judge that runs a court in the court of heavens is agendaless, is objective. We're not seeing a lot of that. We're seeing so much agendized information out there. So it's not only up to you for us to rise above our personal agenda, but it's also up to you for us to inject not the agenda of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, but to inject the agenda of the tree of life, which is the death of death, which is the end of pain and suffering in our world, which is the end of slavery in our world, which is the end of exploitation in our world, which is treating everyone, no matter who or where or what, with human decency. Okay, we're out of time. Oh, wait, why don't you maybe finish in English there?
This is what the prophet said, therefore fear you not, O my servant Jacob, Yaakov, neither be dismayed, Yisrael, for I am with you.
And so ultimately, that's a quote from Yirmiyahu, the prophet, who is saying, like, when we are aligned with the light of the Creator, there's no reason to be fearful. There's no reason to be dismayed. We are aligned with the light of the Creator. The light of the Creator is aligned with us. Okay, everybody. Love you all. Shabbat
Thank
shalom.
you. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.